Welcome back to Drop a Line. Thank you for dropping by. I am your host, Alec. You are with One Shoe Promotion. Tonight we have a very special guest on. I just read her book. She is an amazing author. I'm going into fanboy mode tonight, guys. This is Drop a Line. And we are back with Nicolette Beebe. Am I pronouncing that right? All right. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you this evening? I am doing great. It's been a heck of a day, but after this, we're just going to go to sleep anyway, so it's all good. Yeah. Is that a good time for an interview over there? That's good. I'm with you. I work at a school too, so I work at a school. I'm a substitute, but working on the alternative. But I hear you though. Hey, listen. Uh, Absolutely. I know what you mean. It is. Can't hear. Can't hear. Can't hear. Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Wait,
Are
can you
we
hear me
in?
now?
Can they hear you on Facebook? Um, are your
Hello?
Are your speakers up but muted? Is that how it
No.
works? Yeah.
Let me plug in my
Yeah,
school
we'll do. All
microphone
right, we'll be
and
all right.
that makes a difference.
We'll be doing all right. You guys can hear us on Instagram, right? Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you. Please leave us a comment or a question. We'd love to hear from you. We love when you join the show. And it
Can you
sounds
hear me?
like audio's back on. Are we good? All good now.
Are we
All
good?
right. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right. So, Nicolette, you are our latest guest on Drop a Line. How you doing? How's it feel to be here?
It feels great. We were gonna do this earlier and then it was my fault. I had to cancel. So I'm like, hey, is it time for our interview yet? So I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, no, and that was totally fine. And it's really great to just be able to use this show to reach across country. It's so cool to be talking to somebody from the West Coast. I've always wanted to go. Is it cool living over there?
It's really nice. I really like the rain. So living in California has been fantastic for that.
That's
Although
good.
winter and fall kind of mesh together now. So it's like
Hmm.
80 degrees one day and then the next day it's rain. So yay for global warming.
Absolutely, absolutely. The one time we could say, yeah, yeah.
Right?
So Nicolette, you are. I'm just going to get right down to it. You are a very, very talented author. I just read your book and I gave it a 5-star review.
I'm so excited. Thank
And
you.
I meant every word of the review, and I meant that rating. I really was hooked from beginning to end. I was in love with the characters. One thing that I look for is that the characters come off the pages, and I remember them as if I was watching them in a movie. And the mythology was cool. The magic was cool. When I was asking questions, when they got answered, I was like, whoa, back off, back off. Everything just changed, and I want to know more. Literally, everything I just said, that's what I think most people look for in a story. So being that I'm such a fan, I would just really love to hear, well, there's a lot of things I want to know. But first, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Take us back. How did you, when did you first discover? How'd you get into it?
Okay, so I didn't always want to be an author. So I was going to be, when I was like a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a singer slash actress. Fantastic, like great life goals, right? And then my brother went in, and he's a doctor, and my mom is a nurse. I was like, great, I'm gonna go into the medical field. Fantastic. And then yeah, that didn't work out so well because all I could hear are characters and plots in my head, and I was like, this is torture. And I have dyslexia, so I didn't really learn how to write my name until I was in 4th grade, like my last name. So that was like school was hard. I hated reading. I didn't read. I started writing before reading. And then I read Twilight and
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is great. My friends are reading it. I can understand it because it's written at a level that I can comprehend. And then that was like, well, I can do this. If I already have characters in my head, then like, what's the problem, right?
Uh-huh.
So that kind of propelled me to move forward with writing. And then I just, from there, it was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I feel so much better with life. I have to do this. So I found a job where I can have time to write and that I'll enjoy. And I love kids. So teaching was the easy option for me to get
Mm-hmm.
into. So yeah, now I'm a writer and I'm hoping to stay that way.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I love your story. I feel like you capture like what the experience is like for a lot of us, like a lot of people who have been on the show, we've talked about, always being into it and discovering it at a young age and it
Mm,
just being a part of your daily life. But I don't think many people have touched upon what you just did, that you tried to do other things, but it
mm.
was still there pulling at you. And I think that is that's actually very insightful because I think that we really do feel a compulsion towards it, especially when we try to get
Right.
away from it.
Right, exactly. I feel like it's my responsibility, It's because if I
Absolutely.
don't write it down, they're gonna keep bugging me until I cry myself to sleep at night. So, like, I tried
Absolutely.
to do that. I tried to do that with Mark King. So this one, like, came to me. It was like a whirlwind. I was like, "Okay, this is happening," right? And I started writing down sat down and started writing it out, and then it was, like, 4 hours later, and my husband's like, "Are you coming to sleep, or are you just planning to stay up until 3 a.m.?" And I'm like, it's 3 a.m.? Since when was that?" And so then I would go to sleep, and then I would dream about them, and I would wake up saying the character's name, so it's like, if I don't get it down, I feel like I'm just gonna die. So
This is meant to be.
it was
This is
meant
meant
to
to
be.
be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, there's characters that present themselves to you. Your characters are like stalkers.
Yeah.
Like they stalked
Right?
you all over the place
Oh
until you
my god.
finally just shared them with the world. It's
Right,
they were
right.
like,
I'm like,
make
"God."
us real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't wanna live in your head anymore. I need to be
Yeah.
out in the world.
That's right there. They were scratching at the outside. Let us out. Release us.
Yeah.
So good. And I'm glad you did because, like I said, the book was just totally fantastic.
Thanks.
So there's a lot we could, dabble into. You've had experience trying different means
Mhm.
of publishing. You've had marketing experience. You seem to have experience integrating into a community around you. But before we get into all that, what I'd really love to know is, you know, um, so you talked a little bit about how you had a very strong sense of the characters early on, that you knew who they were. But I'm curious about like the exact setting and format of the story, and a lot of the choices you made there. Like, do you have any influences that push you in a certain direction, or did that come to you in kind of a unique way? Like,
Um, so it's weird because I see the characters first. Dialogue comes to me
mhm.
first. I just because I hear them in my head. I don't know, I might be crazy, who cares? But it's coming out, and then I'll get to a point where I'm like, "Hey, not what happens next, but what's going on around them," right? And so I'll just wait, and then I'll see like flashes of scenes. I'm like, "Oh, okay, they're in a garden. Fantastic." And then I'll try and hone in on that and then try to fill in the blanks. The whole because Mark King is set in a wasteland of like rotting trees and blackness and
Mhm.
despair, like as dramatic as can possibly be. And I was like,
Mhm.
hey, what else is going on there? Because all I see is black trees. That was all I saw. And I tried to fill it in and I realized, okay, what would happen if it's raining? Okay, if it's raining, the mold would fall off. Oh, it's mold. Hey. So it kind of just like pops in my head. I think I just have
Right.
an overactive imagination in that sense. And then I try and
Yeah.
use things that I think that the characters can interact with so that it's more playful and fun for the reader, and the characters, and find something that they can, have make decisions on. So, for example, the camera at the lights, in the trees for the splitter camp. Okay, that's something they can interact with. So maybe that's a good idea to put it in.
Absolutely. And so, talking to you is helping me to realize a little bit more why I liked this book so much because that's exactly what I look for and what I try to do in my own writing is your story is unique. Your story has things that are unique about it even from the other things that you write, and the best stories take what they've got and use all of those unique details to kind of bring to bring the whole production together. At least I think so. So I
Mhm.
definitely caught on to that at how you were just pulling my attention to all the things that really made your world itself, and I really really appreciated that, and I was propelled to keep reading. And on
Ah,
that
thank
note,
you.
of course, on that note, my lovely girlfriend Carrie is asking, "What is Marking about?"
Okay, so I've prepared for this question because this is the question that everybody knows I get stuck on. But Mark King is a post-apocalyptic romance. It has a little bit of everything for everyone who likes different genres. But it's about a man named Dexter Bennett who did not get the chance to save the love of his life when the apocalypse started. And this is 4 years from that day, and he's feeling hopeless and, just wants to surrender, even though he's built this successful refugee camp. Sarah Mark King comes rocking into his camp, but has no recollection of him at the time. And she's just there because she's on her way on a secret mission to Mount Verta. And when she realizes who he is, she's like, "Oh, this is so weird." and she's like, I still gotta go. And so he's doing the best that he can to say, "No, this is my purpose. I have to keep you safe all the way to Mount Verta. We have to rekindle our friendship and at least put that to rest before I die peacefully." And on the way to Mount Verta, he starts realizing that the secret mission is more dangerous for her and for him than he thought. And he starts to question, okay, wait, am I protecting you or are you protecting me? I'm so confused. So the whole unveiling of their relationship and this horrible secret that she has and is keeping from him comes into play. So that's what it's about.
That was good. That was really good. I thought you did great. You shouldn't be afraid of that question. You did a great job.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Not only are you good at writing it, you are good at promoting it. Man, I mean, you're just good at all of this. That's great.
Okay. I had help. I had a little bit of help from being in bed rest of I have nothing better to do. Hey guys, let's talk about writing. So.
Oh hey, yeah. Let me tell you, I was none too thrilled this past year at everything that's been happening to the world, but quarantine really did help me with a lot of extra time to make happen what I'm trying to make happen right now. So, so I feel you there. And I love the way you described. Carrie says, "Sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing." I really love the way you described that because the way I read this book was I was in a bit of a busy season, so please forgive me, but I picked up, I read the first 2 chapters and I set it down for a day or so. So sorry. But anyway, then I picked it up. Then I picked it up at chapter 3 and I read straight to the end, and it was great. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I remember feeling in the first 2 chapters a sense of, wow, okay, so far I already feel like I've just read 100 pages about these characters. Like in the first 2 chapters, I know exactly who they are. They just leapt off the pages, introduced themselves to me. It was like a really good pilot, in those first 2 chapters. Then I picked it up and I was, like I said, I was kept in suspense. I was wondering what her little secret was, all this stuff. And I was really genuinely enjoying not just the suspense, but how the relationship and the characters developed throughout all that suspense. And then, you really just knocked it out of the park, in my humble opinion, because you did it in such a way that I was really, really, really wanting the answer to that secret. And then when it came, it was good. I was like, whoa, all right. This just went from good to great, and I am leaving a strong review on this. So,
yay, good.
And then you kept it going. And then you kept it going until the end, after the twist. That's the other thing. But I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, it's fine. You're gonna make me cry because this is my life, and someone's saying that they like it, and it doesn't matter if it's it's just me that likes it. I'm like, no one's gonna read this. So if I can have one person that's just this was the bomb.com, that makes my life complete. I spent all those hours for a reason. So thank you so much for saying that.
Oh, please. It's my absolute pleasure. It's a joy. It was a joy to read. It kept me very entertained. It inspired me as an artist. That's pretty big. So, oh, absolutely. Like I said, tonight's a fanboy night. So for those of you watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, we are going to do a quick promo in a quick minute, but I encourage you to hit the subscribe button if you are watching on One True Promotion. Nicolette is one of many, many authors who have joined our community and are coming on for a chat. If you want inspiration, entertainment, engagement, this is the place to get it. If you want to be on the show yourself, you can be. You just got to follow us and reach out to me to get your name on the calendar. By the way, I got a big stream coming up. It's called Live Readings. Nicolette is going to be a part of it, and you do not want to miss this on December 8th. Here's a quick promo for that. We will be right back. Being here. We are back. Thank you all for being here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. We have a lot of people pulling in on Instagram. Welcome, Amira. Welcome, Walani. Welcome, BL Callahan. Thank you so much for joining us. Even Odds. I Attack. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. I'm so happy that you're here. This is Drop a Line. Any one of you, some of you have been, Amira was a guest. Any one of you could be a guest on in the future. It is so great to have you. Please leave us a comment. We would love to have you. And thank you, Hamblers. We love what you do too. So, before I get too jabbery, hey, Kadar, what's up, my man? Before I get too jabbery, and you know what?
You should have your own talk show. You're good at this.
Show, right? Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I can, just kind of trip Jimmy Fallon down a staircase.
Yeah,
poor Jimmy Fallon. I like Jimmy Fallon.
Good word for you.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Okay, so now and then I lose my train of thought, and whenever I do that, I like to ask the talent. Do you have any comments or questions for me or for the audience?
I would love to know if anyone out there has heard of me, like whether it's good or bad would be cool. And who wants to join this awesome One True promotion? Drop a line.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Anybody can leave a comment. We will answer your comments. We love it. We absolutely love it. Yeah, a lot of people out there have been on the show or have seen it at its inception. I got to say, for a little while, it was a little touch and go. It was just a small group of people. Andrew was our first guest. A couple of people in the comment section were our earlier guests, and we were just trying to make the thing happen. But then it just exploded, and we've had people from London. It's really been very humbling. It's hooked me in with so many amazing people in the community. And that brings me to my next question. How would you describe your experience from going to your own private chamber where you were writing out your stories between you and discovering the surrounding author community?
So that's a good question, because I've been trying to build a community of writers, and it doesn't even have to be promotion for my own book. It's just sharing a love of writing. And I first started on Facebook, and I was like, oh, what are these groups? They have writing groups. Cool. So I started talking about beta readers, and I was reading other people's books. There's so much great talent out there. And then I was like, okay, well, I have another small Instagram page account that I have that I only use for my creative stuff, like my photography and things like that, my drawings. I thought, what if I just put some writing on there? Maybe I can find some friends on just Instagram. And I was surprised that there's a lot of people who are either only on Instagram or only on Facebook. So I, DMs, I'm like, hi, how are you? I think that's how we met, because just discover and talk to people and get people to recommend other authors. And that's kind of how I do my thing.
It's how you do your thing. That's great. We actually met when you put up, Andrew referred me to you, believe it or not, because he had discovered your May challenge, the challenge you put up for writing authors, and that was how I found out about you. And then when you started doing your lives, I became aware of your publication, and I just happened to pick up the book with a haul I was getting from the authors who have supported the show and been on, and picked it up first because of the cover. The cover is awesome.
I love the cover.
You have a cover that really draws the eye, and I'm glad I picked it up, because next thing I knew, it was but yeah, the writing challenges were very appreciated. How did you get the inspiration to do those?
So I started joining other people's challenges, and I thought that was cool. And I think I actually did a couple of those simultaneously with the ones that I did. But I also wanted to make one that I was building the network that I have of awesome writers and readers. So I tried to find prompts that made people go to other people's page and comment on their things and like their posts that they have and share that love, instead of just, post something about yourself. So, I think that was one or two of mine, but but that's kind of how I wanted to, expand my reach on
Mhm.
Instagram at least. So that's kind of how I did it.
It was very successful, I have to say, because I noticed that people were really flocking in your direction because it really was just such a great community engagement. Like I was really excited about it. I dropped the ball on a couple of them, but I was excited about
I did too. It's fine.
it. I love that. I love that. Okay. I honestly do feel a little bit less bad now. So
Yeah, no,
I
it's fine.
appreciate you telling me.
I think I
That's good.
combined like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, this is my challenge. What's wrong with you, Nikki? Get going. So, oh well, nobody
This is
noticed
awesome. That's so
except
great.
now.
That's so great. Well, yes, now the cat's out of the bag, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Why do they say the cat's out of the bag? Does anybody in the comment section know? Do you know?
It's funny. My dad has a board game called Origins where it's all of those things and people have to guess where the origin was.
Oh,
And
that sounds
actually,
awesome.
that was one of them, but no, I don't remember. I was like,
All right. Well,
sorry.
we know where to start looking though, so that's good. So,
Right?
yeah. So another thing I'm really curious about is, and I'm sure you were prepared for this one, the first time you experienced publishing. Going from that privately creating your work phase to taking that leap and
Right.
going into the industry of it. What was that process like? And do you have any advice for authors who are starting out?
Yeah. So stressful is a good word
Mm.
for it. So I had this dream since I was a kid to be traditionally published. Like I was not going to settle. That is what I wanted to do, and I was hell bent on it. So for about 4 or 5 years, I was sending query letters off to agents, hundreds of them, for not this book, for two of my other books that are completed, that I think I needed a little bit of help on, and make sure it had a direction. I didn't really know that much about the whole process of marketing and cover design and things like that, and I knew I needed help with that. So that's kind of where my mind was. And then when Mark King came to me, I was like, oh, I don't need help with this. Like I have my small group, like my husband reads it and my sister-in-law reads it, and they're really good editors and they really help me. And by the end of that, I had a couple of beta readers also. I was like, this is great. I don't think I need that much help, and I don't know if I want anyone to touch it. So I was like, I think that means I'm going to go to self-publishing. So taking another year of learning how to self-publish and market and get some sort of connections and all that was my focus at the time, since Mark King was already done, and making that leap of, okay, I'm putting it on Amazon. It's going live and it's up for pre-order. Every step of that was so stressful, but that was my entire dream came true, and I made it come true. I didn't have to wait for someone else, so
Right.
that was really, really neat.
Right. So you were. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so you experienced some challenges, but you were very enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is my calling. I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Good for you. And so. Yeah, no, that's great. I was thinking about adding something, but there's nothing to add. So, all in all, yeah, all in all, how long would you say that whole process you just described took?
Probably. Well, I got the idea from Mark King on November 1st of last year, which is why I decided to publish it November 1st of this year. So a year. I would say a full year. And I still don't feel like I did a good job. Like I still feel like there's so much room for improvement and learning from other authors and things of that nature. So we'll see what happens with number 2.
That's right. What do you do with that feeling?
What do I do with what?
Whenever you get that feeling, what do you do with it?
Which feeling? I have a lot of feelings.
The feeling that's good. The feeling that it could be better.
It could be better. I first have an anxiety attack.
Same.
Then I take a break and then realize I need to take a break. And then after that, I dive back into research, more hanging out with people, more interviews, even interviewing other authors, just kind of taking my mind off of it and just going back to what I love to do. So.
I was just going to say, but he said it for me. Andrew posted a comment. He said, I really feel that. I felt a lot of that when I published Sanguinary Song. Had no clue what I was doing, had to learn everything on my own. Yep.
I feel
Oh
ya.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm with you.
you're among friends here, I got to tell you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it really is true though. Like for me, I was I haven't actually queried, but I was partnered with a publisher, a smaller publisher that was
Oh,
acting on my
nice.
behalf. Yeah, it was good. It was good for a while. Then it's about 2 years into the process. We decided to go separate ways, and I decided to try my hand at self-publishing. And this past year, republishing Barker's Rules, my first novel, has been
Which
the
I have,
process.
and I'm so excited
Yes.
to read.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, please buy Barker's Rules, everybody. It's great. You'll love it. It's not suitable for children. So,
It's fine. It's fine.
yes. So, but yeah, it was really a very interesting experience, just kind of jumping in fresh and raw and just kind of learning all the ropes of this stuff. Thank the Lord I had Andrew on my side. We were at an event once. It was called Arts and Authors Extravaganza here in New Jersey. And we met an awesome poet named James Ellerby, who has been on the show many times. And I described a little bit to him that Andrew and I were both at the same time considering self-publishing, and we had decided to form a partnership in doing so. And he looked at us and he just said, "That's indispensable." Like he looked at us and said, "What the two of you have, it's just indispensable," and that really hit me. And I've been, a bit more grateful for
And
my
look what
friend
you've
here
done. You've already
since
done
then.
a great job. Like, you have that intuition.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Not without this guy behind the scenes. So, folks, Andrew is half the magic here. If you want to buy Sanguinary Song, you will not be disappointed. Go check it out on Amazon. Oh man, I had a question. It was somewhere. No, I didn't. I had a comment to answer. Julia McLean
Oh, hi,
is asking, what did you do with your other books? Did they get published, or if not, do you plan on self-publishing them?
So those ones, I had a few nibbles. So those
Mm-hmm.
were like, I printed out my rejection for them and like posted it on my computer and was like, this is amazing. Somebody responded. But I did more research, and it says like it's like winning the lottery, getting like a successful literary agent, and that the way it works is that you usually need to find someone who's already in the business and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So no, they did not get picked up, unfortunately, but also kind of fortunately because I get to do it the way that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be self-publishing those. I already have covers planned for those, and I have my sister-in-law looking at them, and yeah, they'll be out. So I don't think I can keep it in now that I've experienced my books
Sure.
out in the world. It's so thrilling that I don't think I could ever just leave it at that and then go back to the query
Mm-hmm.
trenches where it's a nightmare and so stressful. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for the question.
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you for leaving a question. Please ask us questions. We love answering the questions. That's what the show is all about. It's so fascinating too, because I have a similar story. I was committed for the longest time to thinking I was going to be traditionally published, and I was even holding back the book that I'm about to release in October because for a couple reasons. I care about the book a lot, and I really wanted to make sure it got optimal marketing. At the time, I was doubting my own ability to do so. But yeah, as I started, this was actually just this past year, as Andrew and I started doing our research, literally what yielded itself to us was, if you can do it yourself, that's more worthwhile.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like literally, like, and that's not what they would have said back in the 90s. Just, like the industry has just exploded with change. It really
Right.
has.
Right. And I remember when I was like, oh, traditionally published is the only way to go. And that's kind of why I had my head set on doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then realizing, oh, what's this what is it? Am I even pronouncing it right? Self-publishing?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. And, it's funny how hearts and minds change. It used to be so frowned upon. You were thought of as somebody who didn't want to show your work to an agent, didn't want to get criticized, who didn't get criticized, who paid a vanity publisher to put it out for you. Like it used to be like you were like, you were just like a pretender if you were self-publishing. Now it is, it's
a competitor for the traditionally
published agents. Yeah, and I would add a very significant competitor. Most people that come on this show are running their own businesses on social media.
Right? One day that'll be my job, but not
Yeah,
not.
there you go. Yeah, you'd be well suited for it just from the interactions we've had. And Amy is asking, what does your production process look like between writing, editing, cover design, etc.? Great question.
Oh, nice. So writing, the dialogue comes first for me. I just have like a page of dialogue, and then I start filling things in. And then, after I have a full, well, not even actually, I tend to not even finish writing a full, I go like maybe by chapter, and then I go back and reread the chapter if I'm stuck, and then I go back and reread. So I have like this really polished, nice couple chapters, and then like complete crap after that. So it takes like a lot of edits. But once I have something that I think is complete, I'll send it to my sister-in-law. Oh no, my battery's gonna die on my phone. Hold
Testing
on.
1, 2, 3. Mic out, mic on. Oh, there she is. There you are.
Mic on. Oh, there she is.
Can you hear me?
All good. I hear you.
All good. Okay. Hold on. I gotta balance my phone on my cord. Okay, that's good.
That is all right. That is all right. You were saying?
Difficulties. So after I have a full whatever, even if it's not so great, I'll send it to my sister-in-law because she likes to hack things to pieces in such a polite way. And then she's like, no, this should be really over here, and this you should take out, and this is too slow. So I take her feedback and I redo the whole manuscript. Then I send it to my husband, who reads it and also hacks it to pieces. So awesome. And then after that, it goes back to my sister-in-law, where she is like, yeah, you did a good job. Thanks for taking my advice. And I'm like, you did great advice. And then it's just me. Then I have to really take a critical eye, and I will reread my manuscript 100,000 times. And I'm still finding mistakes in marking still. And I am so like, I'm a perfectionist. So seeing them is like, oh, no one's going to notice them, but I notice them. And then after that, I'm like, okay, I think we're almost done. Let's start getting cover design. And so I go to, he's my favorite cover designer ever. His name is Alexander Kopinski. Look him up. He is phenomenal. And I spent all my money on his work, because I didn't buy an editor because I'm an editor and my husband is, and my sister-in-law is as well. So I'm very thankful, or else I would have just no budget at all. And then I just put it on Goodreads and Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And then very slowly I start like, okay, I got to fill in the blurb. Okay, now I have to fill in a release date. Okay, and then it's just like little steps at a time. So that's I don't know if that answered your question.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I think it definitely did. And he actually responded, writing the dialogue first is an interesting approach, very character focused. And I agree.
Yeah. I think it works. I think it works in my favor though. Because I hear them talking in my head, because I think I just have an overactive imagination. So, but when I hear them, I'm like, perfect, great, here we go. And that's kind of how I start the story, is they're telling me, oh, hi, DJ Thompson. I just read his book. He's amazing. Yes, it's really good. It's called Angels of War. Put it on your list.
Angels of War. All right, we're gonna have to read DJ Thompson's book. I like me some Angels of War.
You might want to interview him. Put him on your list.
Anybody in the comment section, if you would like to be a guest author on Drop a Line, you just reach out to me and I will put you right on the calendar, whatever our next spot is. In fact, a couple people who have been commenting are our next guests. So,
oh, cool.
Oh yeah. This is a tight knit community here. I'm a terrible interviewer. I can't think of the question to ask. But that's all right.
Fine. I tend to talk a lot, so it's my fault, not your fault.
Listen, that is the best thing, though, because this show is all about just bringing people on who can just share their experience and inspire everybody who's watching. So I always love when the guests come prepared to talk. It's just these wealths of information that I think myself and the audience really do want to get their hands on. And now I remember, I've really been appreciating your little blurbs on social media, like the one you did about getting an idea in the middle of a conversation and running away to write. Like, first of all, you're a very good comic. The way you do your cuts away, like it's just comedy gold. You're very good at that. I appreciate a good comic. And for another thing, you are dead on. I'm like, that is exactly it. That is exactly it. It's like, listen, no disrespect. I'll be right back.
Right?
I love it.
I've definitely lost friends doing that. And I know I'm not the only one because Julia and I also we both made a reel on the same freaking day about the same thing. And it was about that. It was about just talk. Cause I think I've been talking to my husband and I'll just like space out. He goes, are they talking to you? I'm like, yeah, shh. So I'm listening.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Definitely
That's so
lost
cool.
friends. And then I made it up to them because I'm like, no, but it's okay because it's about you. I made a character about you. And they're like, okay, you're forgiven.
Oh my Lord. People need to just chill. It's all good. But I really love that, your husband is your editor. It seems like you guys are really just a power couple in that way. And that's
I mean, it's
indispensable.
funny because he's a big reader and he doesn't
Mhm.
write. And then, but I write and he reads. So we're a perfect match.
It's awesome.
And so one day I saw him, he was typing, but upside down. I don't know how to explain it. Like his feet were on the bed, but his torso was on the ground and his laptop was like this. And he was like that for hours. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, shh, I'm writing a book. I'm like, what? How is that possible? He goes, you've inspired me. I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
There you
and
go.
It's amazing. His first draft is like my final draft. So I'm trying to get him to go over it again and, publish it.
Yes. He's had the benefit of reading all your first drafts, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. You're part of the magic there. Let it be known.
I didn't really have that much feedback for him. I was just like, this is great. When are you publishing it?
Right. Absolutely. That's awesome, And I love that you and him both, you're such doers, you know what I mean? The most frustrated people I know are the ones who come to me and they say, and they give me these ideas. I'm reading these in my phone, and I've said this in the last 3 shows, but I'm still saying it because I'm still salty about it. But I'll read these concepts, these story concepts in text message, and I'm looking at it. I'm just like, oh my God, all the talent I wish I had is right here in my hand. And I say, when are you publishing it? And they say, oh, I don't have the time for that. I'm like, don't do this. You must. You must. The world needs it. And, but I love that you are such a doer. I love that your husband is such a doer because it really is a very underrated, I think. Well, maybe not because a lot of people do preach it, but it is a significant part of the process is being able to get out there and do and just push in that way and, be your own entrepreneur. You know what I mean? So kudos to you for that, really.
Thank you. You too. I mean, you're doing it too. We all have the same experiences here. I'm glad we're able to support each other too.
Absolutely. That's what the show is all about. I've been neglecting a comment though. You can tell when a book is character focused versus story focused. Love that. Absolutely. Love character driven stories. And that was definitely Mark King. Mark King is very much a character piece. It is well worth it for anybody who wants a character driven read. And Julia says, have you ever thought about or looked into paying for an audiobook service?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So at the moment, I spend all my money on that cover. So until I can muster up something else. Oh, hi, Melissa. Sorry, she's the reason why I have a second book. So, and I love her.
Important person. Welcome, Melissa. Yeah, welcome to Drop a Line.
But I already forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, an audiobook. So yeah, I would love to, but also I feel very protective of Dexter and Sarah, and I would they'd have to be perfect voices. And I don't know if I could find if there's anyone out there that wants to volunteer to send me a sample read and think they can master Sarah and Dexter's voices, I'd be happy to listen. So
I'll keep that in mind. My girl and I will keep that in mind. We might be looking into that in the future ourselves.
Yes, let me know if you find anyone. I'll let you know if I find anyone.
We sure will. We sure will. But yeah, so am I still echoing, by the way? Oh, and Andrew says he knows someone who might be interested as well. Oh, yeah. So
send them my way.
Look at this. We are running on about 40 minutes. Usually the shows go about 45 minutes or so. But that's what happens when you're having fun. This has been a fun interview. But because I am because I am disheveled and just making a complete and utter fool of myself right now, thank you for coming to my show, everybody, where I make a complete and utter fool of myself. I love you. Please follow me because I write books and I hope that you will enjoy them. I think they're pretty cool. Maybe you will too. But anyway, because I don't want to get too much of a mess over here, I got to ask you, now that we are approaching the 40-minute mark, is there anything you wanted to promote tonight that I didn't manage to ask you? And how can we support you going forward?
Oh yes. So follow me on Instagram. That's where I hang out the majority of my day. If I'm on my phone, it's probably Instagram. So follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions or anything you want to hang out about, DM me, say hi, don't be scared or afraid. I am here to hang out with you too. And I do have 2 YouTube channels. One is about writing, one is not going to do about writing. So one is Nicolette Beebe. It is all about writing. So if you have any ideas for writing or anything you want me to make a video about, feel free. And the other one is a beauty review channel. There are only 30-second reviews because I'm really impatient and don't want to sit for 30 minutes about one product. So those are really fun and cute, and feel free to hang out with me there. I'm also an editor. So if you need an editor, I am super available for you, and I get invested in your characters, and I will work with you and go over specific scenes that you need to go over and make sure that you are as confident as you could possibly be in your manuscript before you publish, and that it's nice and clean and polished and ready to go. So I think that's
awesome.
it. And I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter I never use. So if you want to pretend to hang out with me over there, feel free. But yeah, I think that's it. My book is called Marking. The second book, the cover release is in like 4 days. So
all right, cover release party.
Yeah, cover release party. Yeah, I think that's good. I think go pick up Marking. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear what you think.
I will steal a comment for my own comment because I agree with it 100%. This is from B.L. Callahan. Marking is in my top 5 reads of the year. If you haven't read it yet, you definitely should check it out. Smiley face with starry eyes. That is, I agree with that completely. Marking is great. Check it out, people. Check it out. It is a great read. I did not go over this.
Thank you so much.
I did not go over this with you beforehand, so I apologize for putting you on the spot. But would you be at all interested in doing a quick reading?
Yeah, for sure. I have my handy Marking novel. I should have actually been the whole time, but the book. I don't think I've shown the cover. Here's the amazing cover by Alexander Kopinski. Oh, there you go. Yours is a little less loved than mine. My proof copy has like wrinkles and is torn apart. Yeah. Actually, this is cool. This is the first time I'm going to read like my actual copy. So I get nervous reading out loud. So just heads up, I'm going to stutter. It's a fact.
All right. It's all right. I stuttered my way through this interview.
Right. Me too. But I'm glad we're friends now, so it's all good.
There you go.
Okay. Chapter 1. We'll make it dramatic. Outside the camp was an ink-colored wasteland of rotting trees that only the brave and the desperate dared to travel through. Black mold overpowered the endless forest, breaking off branches in brittle clumps and puffing into clouds of powdered ash. And every day, it worsened. That was supposed to be dramatic. Okay. That was why Dexter never bothered to look out his window to his right. He only sat in his wooden chair facing the door and stroked his full beard. With an unfocused gaze on the knob, he waited for his 7-foot burly guard to climb the tower to him. Maybe one of the 6 filthy beds lining the curved wall would be occupied tonight. Even though the mattresses contained wet blots, blood stains, and dirt patches, it was better than nothing. Thinking of the stories that each of them held had him clenching his teeth and then his fists. The door burst open, and Zeke strode in with a person in each hand. Dexter approached his guard, who wore similar garments as him, black leather pants with the ribbings on the knees and laced dramatic page flip laced boots. While Zeke had on a tunic with the sleeves ripped off, Dexter wore an army jacket My phone keeps falling, so excuse me while I fix my phone every 2 seconds. Dexter wore an army jacket that hung above the knees and was complete with cargo pockets. What do you have for me? That's my Dexter voice, and if someone can do a better job than me, that would be fantastic. Zeke's left hand held a scrawny man looking sickly and pale. In his right was a woman with clothes tattered, eyes sunken and teary. Straight black hair fell haphazardly over her left eye. I got an infected, he shook the man, and an offering. Her name's Jane. Zeke nodded his head toward the woman. Dexter trained his eyes on the ill man who babbled with a bleary stare. The infection must have been infiltrating his body for weeks. Fortunately, none of his senses were functional enough for him to piece together what Dexter was obligated to do. There was a certain type of peace he felt in putting the infected out of their misery. It was harsh, but merciful. He reached under the chair and freed the steak knife from the magnetic strip beneath. What are you doing? That's my Jane voice. It sounds like my voice, but don't be confused. It's not. Jane questioned. Dexter stabbed the blade into the side of the man's neck, slicing around his throat. I shouldn't be smiling while I'm reading this. The infected man fell, gurgling as blood sprayed from the gash and spurted from his mouth. Jane screamed in a hysterical fit, thrashing to escape Zeke's grip as she clamored for the man. No, Dad, no! The words echoed in Dexter's ear, causing his already tormented heart to fragment. His eyes shot to Jane, face red with cheeks soaked with tears. Damn it, Zeke, you didn't tell me they were related. Zeke shrugged, letting his eyelids fall halfway. Didn't know. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to stop there if that's okay.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Grabs you right from the beginning, doesn't it, people? Check out Mark King. You will not be disappointed. It only gets better and better from there. Literally, that was the low point, and that was good. It just gets so much better. By the time you get to the end, you'll be like, 5-star review. So,
thanks.
Nicolette, it was a pleasure to read your book. I'm glad to have the chance to promote it. It is an honor to have you here tonight. You know, I really do admire what you do. I admire the way you reach out and engage the community. I love that you're a doer. I love how creative and inspiring you are. And really, I honestly am a big fan. It was great to have you here tonight. I hope you will join us again. Drop a Line goes all year long. So any Thursday all year long, if you're interested, just DM me and we'll get you a spot on the calendar. That goes to everybody in the comment section as well. Do you have any closing remarks? Oh, absolutely. Do you have any closing remarks for myself and the audience?
Thank you for reading. Feel free to put it on your Goodreads and take your time with it. Enjoy and happy reading, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here, Nicolette. We will catch you next time.
All right. Thank you.
For those of you who are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, we are going to play a quick promo for Andrew Best's Writing Sprints. Join us on December 8th for live readings. Nicolette and many of the authors who have been on Drop a Line this past year will be featured in this year's live readings. It's going to be a great, great stream. We are really excited about it. And also, do check in with Andrew Best tomorrow for writing sprints or nano sprints, actually. I'm going to play the proper promo now because it's actually supposed to be called nano sprints. So we're going to go ahead and play the promo for what might be the final Friday, I think, in Andrew Best's National Novel Writing Month Writing Sprints. And that is our show for this evening. Please note that next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we will not be having Drop a Line next Thursday, but we will be back in the first week of December. Thank you for dropping by, and good night.